but they wasn't right together. It was
Uh-huh.
scattered. Well, these people lived in the very back house named Halls,
Mm-hmm.
and this woman's husband he was a drunk,
Mm-hmm.
and he had been over town at one time years before,
Yeah.
and he got drunk and was on his way to go home, and he had to cross the railroad track, and there was a train sitting on it, and he got tired waiting for that train to start up and go, so he crawled underneath of it, and the train started up and cut off one of his legs.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they buried it in on the hillside there next to the bank where the train track was. When he cut it off his leg, where they dug a hole and put it in it. But the Salvation Army got him a wooden leg,
Uh-huh.
and this wooden leg had straps that went over top of his shoulders and all, and it went on this stump, is on his left leg. When
Mm-hmm.
that stump of his leg slipped down in this wooden leg, and then them straps come up and went over and around him and everything to hold it up on that stump.
Mm-hmm.
And he walked stiff-legged like Chester on Gunsmoke,
Mm-hmm.
stiff-legged. But he had a pin in that leg, and when he sat down, he could pull that pin or do something to it, and that way he could bend his knee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he was gone. Her husband was gone off to town on a drunk, up on the hill, get drunk, and she was pregnant, and she had how many kids? 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
She lived way at the back of the farm, about a mile back. That farm was 250 acres or so.
Mm-hmm.
She sent her kids down to Mama's house and told them to tell Mama to go call the doctor to come to her because she was ready to have her baby. And here come her oldest girl wagging all the kids to Mama's house, and she told them to stay there till after the baby was born. And when Juanita come and told Mama that, Mama told me Mama got a bunch of sheets and rags and pads and stuff and give them to me, and just me myself. Rosella didn't go with me, to take them back to Ruth, and she told me to go by this other lady's house that had some more kids and take her with me and tell her to stay with this lady that's going to have the babies,
Mm-hmm.
and me to come on back home after I took all this uh, rags and sheets and stuff back there for to put on the bed. And she was going to go to the firehouse down there to the telephone to call a doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did what she said. I went by and got Miss Ossie and took her with me back there and went back to the house, to Ruth's house. And I told Ruth she was in real bad labor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Miss Frame, the lady that went with me, she wouldn't get near Ruth. She said, she ain't gonna make it, she's gonna die. She said, I ain't getting too close to her. She said, they'll blame us for it if she dies.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to hold Ruth up and fan her and everything else like that. But they didn't have no water in the house. It was a 2-room house, no lights, no water, no nothing. So I went out and they didn't have no wood cut for their fire. So I went out and chopped wood, cut wood, built a fire in the kitchen in an old flat top laundry stove. And I went to the woods back behind the cabin, their house, and got water and brought it back and got hot water on the stove and going. So when the baby would be born, the doctor come, he'd have hot water and all that for to deliver the baby, I thought. Well, dark come on, and Mama had never got back with the doctor. And the baby, she had her babies, but she had 2 of them. Or I didn't know that one was a baby. She had one baby, and another big pile of stuff, which I thought was the afterbirth.
Uh-huh.
And pretty soon Mama came with the doctor, but she never did get her husband. He didn't come. But she come with the doctor and it was dark. And the doctor come in and I was about 14 maybe. And the doctor saw me there and he said, "What's this girl doing here?" Well, I perked up right now. I said, "Doctor," what was his name? What was
Bell.
No,
Oh, Dr. Bell.
I can't think what his name was now.
I know who you're talking about, but I can't think.
Bradley.
Bradley.
Yeah, Dr. Bradley. I said, "Dr. Bradley, don't you fuss at me." I told him, I said, "Mama sent me back here to bring some stuff to Ruth and to pick up our neighbor to come and stay with Ruth. And she told me to come on back home. But Miss Frameworth said if I left, she's leaving and she's going to leave Ruth here hollering and screaming, having a baby with nobody with her. And so I couldn't leave her." So I said, "Don't you fuss at me. I done went and cut wood and built you a fire and went to the woods and got water, and I got hot water in there for you and everything." And he said, "Well, you're already here, so I don't guess any use of you leaving now." And he went there and threw the cover back, and I said, "The baby's already done born. It's there." And it was, because I knew I'd done looked. I knew she'd done had it. But I just left it there with her because the cord was still hooked to her.
Mm-hmm.
And he took his knife and opened up that sack and rolled out another baby.
Still alive?
No.
No. She had
And
suffocated.
he told them, he said, had she known to just pull the sack and busted it, the baby would have lived.
Yeah.
But he said it wasn't her fault, my fault, because I didn't know. I thought it was after birth.
Yeah.
And he said had we busted the bag, it could have got air, and it would have lived, but it didn't. It died.
Yeah.
Well, he told her, Ruth, he said, "You can tell your husband it was a full developed baby."
Mm-hmm.
He said, "You can take it off down there in the woods and bury it somewhere. I'm not even going to report it
Mm-hmm.
born." But Mama wouldn't let them do that. They was going to just bury it in the woods.
Yeah.
Mama said, "No, they're going to bury it out here at Valley Creek where they had another little girl that had died and been buried."
Your mom had a little girl?
No.
No, they had a little girl.
Mama took an orange crate and lined it with satin
Mm-hmm.
and made a little casket with an orange crate. You know, the old kind that raised up the top, but you make it come full of oranges. And she made a casket for it, and Daddy took the man with the daddy out here to Valley Creek, and they dug the grave and buried it.
Valley Creek Cemetery?
Mm-hmm. And that's where the woman's buried now, too.